which we have especially organized to celebrate the third anniversary of the national education policy. Ladies and gentlemen, as you already know, that the national education policy was brought into existence in the year 2020, July 29th, right? Yes. 29th. It was brought by the union government, central government, and the idea was to revamp the education policy of India. Since independence, our education policy has been revamped many times, 3 or 4 times. The last it was done was 1986. 86. The last revamping was done in 86. And as you can imagine, since 86, a considerable time has lapsed. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens is that things change. Society changes, the priority of society changes, many things change. And a successful education policy must take into account, must be consistent with all the changes which are happening in the society. And therefore it is imperative, it is necessary that every about 20 years or 25 years, we take a look at our education policy and bring it into line, bring it into consistency with what is existing in the society, what society expects from the young generation, because education policy will frame the kind of students, the kind of young generation which will be produced in the country, and they have to be consistent with what the nation wants, what the society wants. And therefore it is very imperative that the education policy must be looked at every 20 years, 25 years. So as Madam Bhotia has told me that the last revamping was done in 86. Now it is time to relook at it, and our national government, union government took that bold step in 2020, July of 2020, and brought this policy into national education policy into existence. It was announced. It was a gigantic effort. It was a humongous effort. I know the chairperson of this committee which framed the education policy, Professor Kasturi Rangan. He was an he's basically a scientist. He's a physicist. Same place where I did my PhD from. The other way around. I did my PhD from the same place where he did. He was my senior. We both are from Ahmedabad Physical Research Laboratory, where the father of the Indian space program, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, established the first laboratory in space science in Ahmedabad. So he was there earlier, and then I joined later, of course. So I know him personally as well as from his work and professionally. He is really a very, very meticulous person. So he was the chairperson of this committee. And along with many experts and many people, this policy was framed. And I am told that in the process of deliberations, the suggestions were taken from general public also. After the draft, first a draft was brought into existence, and then that draft was circulated amongst common people. And then people were asked to comment, to give suggestions, how it can be improved, where it can be improved, what other changes should be brought in. So basically the point which I am trying to make is that this education policy has undergone a lot of thorough examination, thorough scrutiny by everybody, all the stakeholders, the general public, the scientists, the politicians, everybody. So it's a result of a very intense deliberations and consultations from amongst our people of our country. So it was announced in 2020, and from 2020 onwards, initially all the central universities and higher education, and then later on private universities, state universities. It was expected that it will be slowly and gradually implemented over a period of about 10 years. Yes. Over a period of about 10 years. It started in 2020, and its implementation will be complete by 2030. All the pillars or the verticals will be finished by 2030. So in 2020, we in Sikkim University were directed by our central government to start implementing various pillars of this national education policy, and we got into this business with a great gusto. We took it as a challenge. We immediately formed a committee in 2022, 21. 2021 we formed a committee in Sikkim University under the leadership of Professor Satyanarayana in those days. He was a faculty member in Sikkim University and assisted by Madam Bhotia, Yodita Bhotia, and there was a whole committee. They got into the act, they got into the implementing, and since then various pillars have been implemented. So this is the third anniversary of that. So anniversary is just a way of putting it. You're not going to have, it's not a birthday or something where we'll cut a cake for something like that. Basically the idea is that take a stock of situation. 3 years have passed. We have implemented various pillars of this national education policy. So let us sit down and take a stock as to what we have done, how we have done, how far it has been successful, and how to go about implementing the rest of the pillars, and how to correct what may not have been correct. If there were some errors in implementing some of the pillars earlier, how can we correct that, and take other corrective measures. So basically, I won't call it anniversary, I would call it as taking stock of the situation. So that is the whole idea of this press conference, and I thought we'll take a stock of the situation in front of the press, so the press also knows what we have done and how we have done, and you can give us marks for how we have done the job. So with that introduction, I think I would hand it over to you to present details of this. So I would request our madam. So Professor Satyanarayana has left Sikkim University. He has gone to some other university, and since about how many months now?
He went to December. 6 months.
For about 6 months after he left, Madam Yodita Bhotia, our professor in the Department of Education, she has taken over the reins of this committee to implement NEP 2020, and she has been doing a wonderful job, very dedicated. I really find her very, very dedicated. Some people are really, you give them a job and then they're just like a horse. They don't look at anything else. They put all their efforts, their mind, everything into it. So she, along with her colleagues, Professor Dr. Gupta, who is already here, and with the help from all of us from Sikkim University, our Registrar Sahab, Rao Sahab, we've been under her leadership. We are trying to bring about this implementation of NEP. I would request Madam Bhotia to take over and explain to the press what we have done about implementing NEP in Sikkim University.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words of appreciation. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Avinash Khare, respected Registrar Sir in the dais, Dr. Amit Gupta. I